Hey everybody, this is Kristen with Codex for a Codex review. And today I'm going to be reviewing the DC Blacklist series of Harleen. It is a 3-issue series that was done in 2019 with the story and art, and I do apologize, I might mispronounce this, by Stjepan Sejic and lettering by Gabriella Downey. Now, hang out with me for just a little bit because we're going to have some fun, okay? Here's what I'm going to do. Just like in my last review, I'm going to go ahead and give you a rating for the very first issue. Now, keep in mind, this is not my rating for the whole entire series. To me, it's really important to give you the very first thoughts that I had on the first issue so that you can see how it changes. Does it go up? Does it go down? Does it remain go ahead and neutral the whole entire time? So just for that, my very first issue of Harleen gets a 6 out of 10. Now, hold on. To know my whole entire rating, I need you to stick around with me for just a little bit longer. But for that first issue, the reason that it gets a 6 out of 10 is because part of me was like, great, it's another go ahead origin story of Harley Quinn. Not necessarily wrong, but here's what happens when you have the first issue of an origin story. It's almost like the pilot episode of a really good series. The pilot episode is going ahead and it's setting everything up. It's introducing you to characters. Even if they're characters that you know, even if they're characters that you love, it's still going ahead and setting all that up for you, which can sometimes make it a little slow and maybe not give you anything new. That's kind of what I went through with the first issue. So, for this story, just to give you a little synopsis, it goes through Harleen, Quinn's out, who, as most of us know, is going to be Harley Quinn. It goes through her going and getting a grant to test her hypothesis on empathy in criminals in Gotham. Long story short, she goes ahead and gets that grant and goes ahead and starts her hypothesis with interviewing the inmates of Arkham. Now, we already know how this story is going to end, and it's not going to end any differently. For anyone that has been there for the beginning of Harley Quinn, which actually happened during the Batman the Animated Series, she was just supposed to be this little sidekick, but people fell in love with her, and then she became this full-fledged character. So, with that in mind, her origin story is very fluid, right? It's nothing that's ever known. Everybody can have their own little takes on her origin story, but really the result's still going to be the same. She's still going to fall in love with the Joker. She's still going to go ahead and have a breakdown, and she's still going to go ahead and become Harley Quinn. So there's no surprise there. What I really want is a unique origin story that I can go ahead and identify with Harleen before she goes ahead and becomes Harley Quinn. Now, with that being said, the artwork, top notch. There are so many Easter eggs in this artwork. There is a wonderful panel where she's just sitting at a table, everything's black, but there is a shadow of a window right here. And it is that wonderful diamond pattern that we all know becomes part of Harley's main costume. There is another one where she's walking into Arkham and her shadow has the pigtails for Harley Quinn and even that huge hammer that she goes ahead and wields. You know, we already know what's going to happen, but they still tease it anyway, just to go ahead and give you that reminder. Also, with the story, you never know what's real and what isn't. What's a dream? What's her breakdown? What's actually happening? And it does keep you guessing. But for that first issue, really nothing new, but dang, you definitely captured me, and I could not wait to read more. So, with that being said, 6 out of 10 for the first issue. Now, hang out with me for a little bit longer because we've got 2 more issues to go through. As I go through these issues, I see a lot of things that are a love letter to the fans. And you can definitely tell the writers are definitely fans of Batman, fans of DC, and fans of the villains in Arkham. Because even though they're not huge parts of the story, we do get Killer Croc, we get Mad Hatter, we get Victor Zsasz, my personal favorite, we get the Riddler, we do get a little bit of Freeze, we even get a little nod to Poison Ivy. If you know, you know. Okay. But that does happen. And then we also get this new origin story of Harleen meeting the Joker. I love that because in a lot of origin stories, especially when it comes to the movies, it happens like that. She sees the Joker, she falls in love, then she becomes Harley Quinn. There isn't a lot of time spent on that descent. How she becomes Harley Quinn here, I'm sorry, Harleen Quinzel, I should say, up here, super intelligent, in her field, going ahead, testing these hypotheses, and being a great therapist to boom, 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 boom. I'm in love with the Joker and I'm Harley Quinn. This one actually drags it out a little bit, and I'm so happy that they did. So the whole entire story takes place within 5 months. And within those 5 months, we see Harleen go ahead and get her dream grant to test her hypothesis on empathy in villains in Gotham and not finding it in all of those like little fan favorites that we love, right? But then finding it in the Joker. Now, if you're still with me here, you might already know that the Joker's origin stories are also very fluid. There are multiple of them, and all of them are right and wrong in their own ways. The Joker is notorious for lying, for being charming, for getting people to believe in him, to trust in him. All the while, still a mystery. Now, that's sort of what this Joker is. It's a different iteration of the Joker. We don't have that mob type Jack Nicholson from the Batman movie. We don't have the anarchist Heath Ledger. We don't have the gangster Jared Leto. We have this new Joker that just sort of is. And he loves going ahead and making you guess at why he is the way he is. And you know what? Harleen can sort of call him out on his BS, and I really dig that. So this version of the Joker, okay, again, it doesn't rewrite the whole entire Joker mythos, but is really awesome, and I love the interactions between the Joker and Harleen. And then we start getting this little breakdown of Harleen. How she is developing insomnia, how she's slowly becoming an alcoholic, how she's letting not just Arkham, but the Joker get to her slowly and slowly. And in between, we also get a really cool origin story of Harvey Dent. Does not rewrite the origin story of Harvey Dent. It happens the way that we all know. But he has an interaction with Harleen that I was not expecting at all. And I do really enjoy that as well because if you've been with the comics, the movies, the animated series, all of that, Harvey Dent goes from this, you know, moral compass of Gotham to Two-Face, and I'm going to leave it all to chance. That's a very simplified version, but that's sort of what happens. And it was very interesting to see his origin story take place and how that affected Harleen and the interaction that she had with him before before she even became Harley Quinn. And I really dig that as well. I like seeing her go ahead and interact with other people in Gotham that isn't just the Joker. It's actually really important to the whole entire story and to her whole entire downfall and breakdown that leads to becoming Harley Quinn. So to me, this series, although it doesn't rewrite the whole entire history, and although it doesn't surprise me in every step of the way, it's still such a solid series. So my whole entire rating for this full series is a solid 8 out of 10. Again, that's because they don't rewrite the whole entire series, the whole entire origin stories, but they do give me a new look at Harleen, a new look at the Joker, and they even throw in a little bit of Two-Face in there and a lot of fan favorites that I do enjoy the fact that they did that. And in all of the art, there's a little bit of Easter eggs that some I didn't even catch until my second reading. So for this one, definitely, definitely give it a try. Even if you're not a fan of origin stories, it's go ahead, give it a try. I think this one might change your mind a little bit. And I really hope that they continue on with this iteration of Harleen and the Joker. So that's it. Again, Harleen was done and written in 2019. My full score is an 8 out of 10, so it went up from that very first issue where I gave it a 6 out of 10. And in case you forgot, I'm Kristen with Codex. This is a Codex review, and I hope I get to see you in the next issue.